Warning. What you just glimpsed and the event you are about to witness is unsolved.
There is nothing wrong with your television set, computer screen, phone, or tablet. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling the transmission. That's the opening of Outer Limits, an example of signal intrusion or hijacking. And I gotta ask you one thing. Who hijacked Doctor Who? Who pirated the TV signals while either Doctor Who or football news was on and showed up on TV wearing a Max Headroom mask? TV station was hijacked. The airwaves pirated to block whatever the programming was and to speak directly to the viewers. I'm going to show you the video what the viewers saw at home that night, and I'll tell you how it happened, and I'll tell you who I think did it. This is how it happened. The way TV transmission usually worked was a microwave signal was sent from the station to an antenna, in this case on top of a 100-story skyscraper 7 miles away, which is then broadcast out to the TV sets in the area. That's when it's working as it's supposed to work, and the engineers at the station can relax. Unfortunately for them, during a WGN sports news segment at 9:16 p.m. that infamous night, the signal went dark. Then for less than half a minute, they, as well as tens of thousands of viewers, witnessed one of the creepiest and most bizarre things they've ever seen on TV. A guy in a Max Headroom mask appeared while a corrugated steel background rotated back and forth. There was no audio, only a creepy buzzing sound, making it even more unnerving than if it was silent. Then it went back to the news, where a confused anchor said, "If you're wondering what happened, so am I. The computer running the news must have took off and run wild." Behind the scenes, engineers were able to change the frequency, thus cutting the hijacked content off and returning to normal. Then, at 11:20 that same night, when the local PBS station was playing a Doctor Who rerun, Max returned to the TV screen, this time with barely decipherable audio. Unlike at WGN, though, there were no engineers on duty at the Sears Tower where the station's broadcast tower was to be able to change frequencies and stop the hijack, which was basically the overpowering of the signal somewhere in between the station and the transmitter tower. So they could do nothing but watch and witness and wait. Mercifully, it was only about a minute and a half of content when the pirates cut their own signal.
Because he's a freaking nerd. I think I'm better than Chuck Swirsky. Freaking the fool. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That's the way. CBX. Oh, my files. Oh, I guess they're a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds. My brother is wearing the other one. But it's dirty. What you got footprints on it? Oh, they're coming to get me.
As far as I can tell, a massive electric shock.
Director Paul Rizzo is quoted as saying, "As the content got weirder, we got increasingly stressed out about our inability to do anything about it." Spokesman Anders Joachim said, "By the time our people began looking into what was going on, it was over." My answer? Let's break it down. What was the message? Previous signal intrusions, at the very least, complained about the rising cost of cable. Max's message seemed to be a pointless rant. It was no V for Vendetta style message to the people in charge about a revolution, but rather a few whining remarks, some slogans, and a man getting spanked. Imagine the power this person had to pull a Howard Beale type moment from Network.
I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
But instead, he quotes some commercials and complains about a sports commentator. This piracy could be an example of culture jamming, which is a form of protest to subvert media culture and social conformity. Max sings Clutch Cargo and Pepsi slogans. But for what? He references WGN, or World's Greatest Newspaper, and calls them nerds. Okay, not very impactful protest. Cut to the chase, I think it was an employee of the TV station. WGN, probably. A young intern, perhaps. A spoiled young man without much message to anybody except pranks and petty complaints. Someone who probably got the job because of his parents, who were executives at the station. Why do I think this? For one, he mentions WGN in a disparaging manner, probably complaining about his employer, mocking one of their anchors, possibly somebody who he was jealous of. Also, the equipment you would have needed was very expensive, with estimates I've read anywhere between $10,000 and even up to $100,000, depending on how close to the signal you got. So either he worked there and had access to this type of equipment, or he bought it with daddy's money. He may have even lived in some high-rise condo and hijacked the signal from his own home. He mentioned that he's better than Chuck Swirsky, referencing a Chicago Bulls announcer who Max also calls a nerd and a frickin' liberal. Better how? Better at his job? Does he think he could do the job? Maybe he gets Chuck coffee and got tired of it, tired of being unnoticed at the station despite his connections. So why couldn't the FCC and even the FBI figure it out? Answer, they probably did. And the perpetrator was too rich to prosecute. The son of someone way too important to get into the news, to suffer the scandal of their son, doing something so foolish, showing his naked ass on TV and getting jail time for it. So when they found out who he was, the investigation goes officially cold and it's dropped.
And it's gone.
Otherwise, they would have made a major example of whoever did it. By now, however, the statute of limitations has long been exceeded, and there may be no repercussions for the culprits. So who do you think did it? Who had the motive? Was it just a prankster? If anything, the lack of clear motive or any purpose at all makes this even more bizarre and even kind of scary. Was it aliens? Was there any point to it at all? Inside job or savvy hacker? Was it really a giant masterpiece for all the world's greatest newspaper nerds? Was Max a troll or a genius? Or maybe just a frickin' nerd? You tell me.